Cub Scout camping. So there's some very specific things that we need to keep in mind as we provide this experience for the younger scouts. And it goes something like this. In terms of general information, the best camping experience comes from a well-planned event. Selection of the camping site is the most critical decision that needs to be made. Scout leaders should personally visit the selected area and make sure that the site meets all of the unit's needs. So some of the questions that need to be asked, something along the line of, is there easy access to this site? Are there cleared areas that will be a good spot for tents? Is there a flat area for a campfire? And by the way, is there a fire ring? Are there indications that there are any wild animals that frequent the area? And will the camping site be outside of a flood-prone area as well? So sites for Cub Scouts should not be primitive, as these scouts are just starting their camping experiences. The focus should be on that camping experience, not survival. Cub Scouting family camping can be experienced in overnight activities, in venues other than accredited resident camps, but all Cub Scout camping sites need to be council approved. So that's our safety minute for the evening. I'm hopeful that everybody did receive the agenda. What I'd like to do right now is shoot this back over to John Harding, because I believe he has a poll question that he would like to ask all of us.
Yes, we're launching a poll, and we're trying to see where your readiness level is. So we'd like to have you vote for one of these 5 different options. And hopefully you've got a chance to see them now. We'll take a couple minutes or a minute or so and let you guys launch, see where you guys are at. And in just a couple minutes, when we have got a majority of you that have voted, we'll share the polling. Right now, there's nobody in that spot between 90 to 100% ready to go. But we've got various people, different stages, and we'll share that in just a second. So, about 15 more seconds. We have about 49 people on the call tonight, so thank you all very much for joining us. And then as we continue on through the meeting, please use the chat box to share questions, and at different points in time, we'll take a break and possibly answer those questions, or we'll wait till the very end. So, okay, in wrapping up our polling to start it off, we'll share those results with you. If you can tell that about 40 to 60% is the most popular spot, that's about 15 of you, that's 42%. And we've got some that are in the almost ready to go type stage. And then we've got a few also in that not quite ready, need some more help tonight. And we've got a couple that are not really ready at all. So hopefully you'll see some information and you'll enjoy it. And we appreciate your help tonight for being with us. Back to you, John.
Thank you, John. Just a couple of quick housekeeping things. As John mentioned, please use the chat box for any questions. We will go over all of the Q&A. If you do have a comment, we welcome that. However, we do want to stay on track tonight, and with a lot of people on this call, we've got a lot of information to cover tonight. So the preferred method is the chat box. But if you do have a comment, after your comment, please remute yourself so that we don't have any background noise. Right now, everything is doing very, very well. So I'd like to start out tonight's presentation with Chris. We're going to be talking about school schedules and reopening plans. So Chris, would you like to take over, please?
Yeah, sure. Really, when it comes to school schedules and reopening plans, I could sit here all day, and me and Abby could have spent the last, week and a half trying to go to every single school and find out the schedules that they are proposing to put out, when it really turns out I just found out that I think Ben Sins just changed their stuff yesterday. And like every school system is changing stuff, it seems like almost on a daily basis. And we cover, probably about 20 to 30 different school systems, and it's just not an easy process to, give you guys updated information when it could change the next day. Really what we're looking for is that we are going to start reaching out to schools and try to find the best options and ways for us to get the information about, recruitment this year out. We obviously don't believe we're going to be able to do school talks. We don't believe that we're going to be able to do the normal in-school participation that we always had. And then especially in EVSC and certain school systems, there's gonna be a lot less kids physically in the classroom. So even the number of flyers we're gonna give out won't really reach as many kids as it always has in the past. So we are speaking with principals and superintendents to see what the best practice is in the future, to sort of figure out the best way for us to get the information out. And that sort of goes into what I'm gonna talk about next, which is gonna be your Google Pins and your just making sure that you are ready to accept all applications and all possibilities of getting kids in through the basically online method that the national office and the council provides to you guys. So we'll be jumping into that. I have Jen Whitaker on the call, and if she can share her screen for her Google Pin page, I would be very much appreciated. If she can, she might not be able to. Maybe not. Okay, well, that's fine. It may not be working for her. It's quite all right. We will go into something instead. So your Google Pin is the, there's basically a single way to access it, and I'm going to share this page with you guys. I hope everybody can see this.
Hey, Chris, can you hear me?
I can, yes, hi.
Okay, sorry, I was on the phone. I didn't realize I need to unmute. It says it's disabled from your side, so if you can enable me to screen share, then I should be able to. It says host disabled it.
Oh, okay. Well, that is a problem. John, I think you might have to do that. It doesn't seem like I have the opportunity to. Okay. All right, well, I need to stop mine.
So if you would just enable the screen share for participants, I should be okay.
Yeah. Okay, well.
I think we lost John.
Yeah.
There we go. I'm back. I'm
Okay.
here.
All right, yeah, I think we lost John there, who was, yeah. So, okay, we're good. All right, so what we're gonna have, I'm gonna kind of walk through some of the stuff, and I'm gonna have Jen sort of show you guys. She just updated her Google Pin yesterday, as far as I understand. And so she's gonna kind of go through the process, how that goes. So you go to your My.Scouting page. Hopefully you guys all have your login information for that. You go to your PAC information. Then under PAC information, you want to go to Organizer Manager or Organization Manager. Then you want to select Unit Pin. So the big things for this year that you guys want to make sure you are adding in whenever this page loads. But when it does load, you guys will see there'll be two. Oh, here we go. On the top, it says appear on Be a Scout. You want to make sure that's checked and activated. Otherwise, you guys won't show up on the Be a Scout page. And then you always want to then this year, the big thing, you want to make sure that people are allowed to apply online. And I'll show you sort of the difference between units that don't have that checked and they have, and why it is so important. Jennifer updated it has the contact person, the phone number, all that fun stuff for their Cub Master on there, who's ready to take the information in. They have their Facebook, link on there, which is very important too. With the PACs or these people coming in to just sign up through online features this year, they're going to want a little bit extra information about what you guys are doing. And then the excellent thing that her unit has is also the days that they meet on there too. Especially you guys in Evansville and some of the bigger cities, there's several units meeting in very small areas. So if you have the dates and when you meet and maybe even the times, it'll help those parents decide not only just what day they need to come in and meet on with Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, they can see what packs are physically meeting on those days. So they aren't sending or asking, 3 different units when they're meeting. They can see it on there and they know where they need to go. Very important stuff, and it'll sort of show up in a little bit also. And yeah, so really how they have it done is very well. They have it set for the online registration. They have it set that they accept boys and girls. I know that was a big thing we tried to change up a couple of years back, was the idea of making sure if you were taking in girls into your packs that you had that checked off, so the families knew that when they're signing up. So it's everything as far as their page is set, and I believe now you just hit apply for it to get all settled in. Oh, the other big thing too is make sure on the bottom down there it has the location of where you're at. Make sure that is your chartered organization. I talked to a couple of unit leaders this week that it was actually the Cubmaster's home address is what was put on there. You really should make it your chartered organization address and not your personal one, just because basically this information is available to literally anybody that gets on the Be a Scout website. So it's not really very secure if you're having it up there. So just keep that in mind also. And yeah, so I think that's the majority. So as you guys saw, it was a very simple process to get in. You just go from your My.Scouting into your unit, into the organization pin, unit, or the organization manager, unit pin, and then you guys can see all the different changes you can make. And there's a couple other options as you go through. And you guys you really need to get in there and change the stuff up, make sure it's updated so that we have everything set. And Jen, if you want to quit sharing your screen, I have my own things to go through for some of this also. All right, so I have a couple examples of the Google Pins. So once you go through the process of updating that stuff, this is what it looks like when a family will, they go to beascout.com, they type in a zip code, and then it'll pull up whatever that zip code that they live in, and here's what this will show up. So I talked to these units ahead of time before I started sort of using them as an example tonight. So, what I'm about to say, they're not surprised by this information I'm giving out. So this is just the Princeton area so it's I believe a 10-mile radius around there or something like that. And the purpose of this is that these are 4 units that are in my district, and each one is sort of a little different. PAC 222, they did a good job. This is her personal address as far as I know, so she needs to change that up. But apart from that, this is the correct stuff of what we're looking for. They are a boy-only unit. They are, she has all this correct information, but there's not a lot of other information as far as when their PAC meets. They don't have their Facebook page. They don't have any of that kind of stuff on there. So the unit or the kid that is requesting to join this unit, that's about it. Also, they're not getting a lot from the front page. They have to request more information for what they're looking for. The other big part of it too is right here just has the request more information. If you check off the apply online option, it gives you a second thing here, which I'll show you. It shows like this on this one right here. It says apply now. So the bonus for this year, we want as few steps from the kids wanting to sign up to actually being signed up. So if you have this request for more information, what it'll do is it'll send a message and this information that the families will put in to your invitation manager, which we'll go through here in a little bit. And then you guys have to go through that process of then calling that family back, sending back a ticket to them to then get the application from them later on. Whereas with the apply now option open, they can just hit this and an online PDF fillable application comes up for them to fill in. And then you have the application ready to go for you guys, and they can pay online and everything. And then you don't have to worry about it into the future. You don't have to worry about getting back to them as much, other than just to tell them, hey, our first meeting or our first virtual meeting is going to be on this day. Instead, if you don't have that option, you're telling them, well, yeah, if we need this and this information from you so that we can get you an application so we can, move on to the next step. So getting that apply now option is very key and instrumental to getting this going. So the next one I want to talk about is right here with PAC 232. So this looks generally like the old one before. However, the contact information they have on here is very outdated. Brian St. Clair, who's a long-serving volunteer for our organization, actually passed away this past year. And he has not been a leader in their unit for about 3 to 4 years. So they're obviously, their information is very far behind and they need to update it. And I talked to the unit leader ahead of this to make sure he knew that I was calling him out a little bit on it. But yeah, these are the reasons why. I mean, any person that is sending an email to this unit or trying to contact them or is contacting this family who is not really in any way a part of the scouting movement anymore. So that's why it's very important to have this stuff updated. Otherwise, it's going to the wrong people. This unit is very well off. They're doing a great job. I think his email address changed very recently. And I know, we're all in the same boat as, you get that new credit card and you spend half a day trying to remember all those different things you subscribe to, or you have automatic payment going to. And so you're spending, putting your credit card numbers in, all these different things. Well, this is just one of those things that you need to make sure that if you have a change in address or a change in contact information, that you also update it in your unit PIN so that it's correct. And then we come down here. This is PAC 246. They did a pretty good job with all their stuff. So this information, they had a very recent change in their PAC leadership, so that needs to change. I think Michael Holfacker is on the video call right now. So yes, you guys need to change this up a little bit. However, they do have the addition of their Facebook page. I think when they go in and do their unit PIN, as you guys saw from when Jennifer was doing it, there's a section that you can put a website link in. That would be the place to put your Facebook link, so that it's a little bit cleaner. But basically, if they copy and paste this section here, it'll send them directly to their Facebook page, and it's a great thing. The only other change too for them is that they are a boy and girl PAC, so that needs to be updated also. So those are just a few sort of different situations in just one small area of ways that they're doing things correctly, and they're nobody's doing anything any wrong, but then different ways that needs to be updated and that kind of stuff. This is a little bit different. So this is from Abby's PAC, and we'll show the difference for a little bit when we go into more social media things, but they actually have a physical website for their PAC. And it also shows on here, it shows, the third Thursday of the month at 6:30. It shows when the unit meetings are. And then normally, obviously for PACs, the den meetings are at very different times, and they would have to figure that out, at different times. There's also units, however, they have no information on here at all. So those units will, we will be working hard in the next week or so to make sure that these units understand that we needed these things to be updated. Because a lot of the ways that we're going to be doing recruitment this year will be virtual, and there won't be the opportunity for them to physically meet to get applications from every single kid, and nor will every kid and family want to come to that in-person meeting. They will want to sign up online, and this is really the best option to do that. All right, so this is, how the whole Google Pin section works. Jennifer, I'm going to stop sharing again, and if you can pull up your invitation manager so they can see generally what that looks like. So for this process, this is the similar situation as going into getting your Google Pin. You go to the menu, you choose your unit, and then you go to the invitation process or invitational manager. Or I'm sorry, for you guys, yeah, is it invitation or membership or member man? I think it's invitation manager for you guys. So basically what'll happen is when the family applies or applies their application, or they have a question, they will send it to your unit, and this is where you guys can see these things coming in. And it'll show you guys, you'll have an opened, you'll have closed and completed. So an open, you'll have basically how it'll come in as a new person. You'll choose it to look at the information provided. It'll come up like this. You can respond to that lead. So if they send in the question about, like we were looking to find out what days you guys meet, if that information wasn't on your Google Pin. what they can then do is respond to that lead through that, and say like, hey, like, we meet on this day and this day, our next meeting is going to be this day. So say that you have recruitment August 10th, your first parent meeting is then going to be the 15th. And they send you this thing on the 7th. You can say, hey, yeah, we have a recruitment night on the 10th. Our first parent meeting is on the 15th. And that's when you can kind of figure out more of this stuff, and sort of go on from there. You can send it directly back to them, and it'll go back to their email. So it's not like it's sort of, even though it sort of looks like a chat box here, it does send it back to them as generally as an email. So it's not really super hindering the family either. Unit leaders can also reassign and then close the leads or complete the leads depending on what the question was or whatever was going on. But she can reassign the reason for reassigning, and maybe it is there's a scheduling conflict where the parent needs to meet on Tuesdays, but you guys only meet on Monday, or maybe they go to a certain school and they want to be with a different group of friends that are not with you. Or you as the unit think you have too many people, which, hopefully this isn't an issue, but that you really can't handle a new person sometimes. But when it does come to too many people, that could also be if you get a girl that, signs up for your unit this year and you don't really have a place to put her, you could move her into another unit that has more girls for that age group, so that she feels more comfortable around a larger group of them, instead of just being a lone scout in a den in your unit, which really isn't allowed anyways. So those are some of the instances in why you would send it back up to us as the district people, and then we would send it out to a new unit or a different unit that could handle that person's either age group or the specific reason why they are leaving. So you can close the lead and complete the lead based on what question was answered. Maybe you get the application from them, so you want to complete it. Once you hit that, it'll come back. It should send you back to the original screen to tell you where you're at sort of in the process. So for Jen's unit, whenever this reloads, if you want to go back to the main screen, Jen, that'd be great. Yeah. So it'll show, she had 3 closed, she has 3 completed. And that's how they will sort of come in. Now you'll have pending reassignment, those will show up too. Invitation sent will be ones that you send back the application, all that kind of stuff. And that process is sort of back then on the family for them to get back to you, for you to, get the application to you guys so you can complete out the ticket and all that fun stuff. So yeah, okay, so I think that's all I have for invitation manager. So Jennifer, if you want to drop that stuff out, that'd be great. Thank you. All right. All right, the last thing I want to show you guys is how to sort of do boosting posts and sort of increasing the any events that you guys put on as far as recruitment goes. So this year, the big thing that's going to be going on is that we need to do more Facebook, or you guys as the units with your Facebook pages and that kind of stuff. We need you to send out your own sort of geofencing similar to what we did last year. So you guys will have to create your individual recruitment nights and that kind of stuff that we will give you the information when we're kind of run them from. And whether you want to do them in person or virtually, we want you to get the information out of when you guys are running them as the unit. So I'm going to run through some of this with our own, this is troops. I'm trying to find our own Facebook page. Okay, so this is our own Facebook page for the council. Part of this, and what I'll do is just the boost for today's membership meeting. So you would choose boost post. On yours, it'll be by event. So if you create an event for whether it's your sign up night or you're going to have a parent meeting following that or that kind of a situation, you could boost the thing saying, we have a boys or Cub Scout parent night, August 15th from 6:30 to 7:30. We'll have activities for the youth while the adults are communicating and getting questions answered for the program. So you can boost that event, you can boost the post to your area, and this is what the next thing that'll sort of come up will show. You can choose your audience, and this is sort of a big this is probably the most important part of this process. So we have our own Cub Scout recruitment audience that we've used in the past. So this, and it just kind of goes to all these different people in Carmine, West Salem, Illinois, Ferdinand, and Fort Branch. And the purpose of why it's in these specific locations is because, and I'll show you here, we'll create a new one. So you can do it from different age groups. And so for locations, what you would type in, so we'll just do Evansville for this one. Well, you know, I'll type in a specific thing here. All right, so this shows up, this is the, you know, area code of this, and it'll show that there are potential reach of 4,000 people. And there's the drop pin there, so it's gonna go, we'll drop a pin on that area. So it's gonna go 10 miles around that. And you can increase the miles and lower the miles. And part of that will be how many people actually see it and compared to, you know, it's sort of like a quality versus quantity situation. So the wider you're going to get, it's going to be in more areas, but it's probably going to reach less people. If it's in a smaller area, it'll reach more people, but it won't be, you know, so widespread, obviously. You can choose detailed targeting in here, and they have several different areas. So for our organization, you know, easy ones are, you know, parents for 6 to 8-year-olds, 9 to 12, 13 to 17, depending on, you know, what level. Of course, you know, even the troops can use this stuff also. But if we're doing just, you know, kids in the younger ages, I'll just kind of go through this quickly, but, you know, there's the parents that you'd want to send it out to. Maybe, you know, specific school areas that you want to, you know, whether it's different elementary schools in your, you know, cities and that kind of stuff. You can choose individual, you know, hobbies and activities. There's a whole section down here for people that look into a lot of camping and fishing, mountain biking, all those type of things that go along with our program. And basically it all kind of shows up here. And as you do this, it may increase or decrease your potential amount of people because you're being more specified to what you're looking for. So now we went from having 4,000 people is going to reach, now we're up to 7,300 or 73,000. And that sort of increases and decreases based on your individual detailed targeting. If you guys would like, you know, we will try to pull together an ideal detailed targeting, whether it's we base it off the one that we use, or if you guys, you know, just give you some options of what you guys would like to use for your own units that would work out best. But you guys can also do that stuff yourself. So you would save it. And like I said, it would come up in this area right here. So below this, you can choose the duration and the date in which you want it to end. So if we started today, it would end on August 2nd. You can choose the amount of money. And as you can see in this section here, the amount of money you get will increase the amount of people reached and the general amount of engagement that you'll get on the post from the different people. We, you know, $10, I think technically you can do as low as $7, $1 a day. And, or yeah, I think it's generally, you can only do it at about $1 a day. If you go below that, it won't let you, as you can see. But it is a very, you know, helpful process that'll get your information out to a lot of people that may not have seen it, especially this year with scouting or with the world the way it is. We are not sure what the availability of people physically being able to see, whether it's the, you know, the flyers we normally give out. Obviously, we won't be able to do school talks. Not a lot of people are going out as much as they used to. They may not see the yard signs you guys put out in your city, depending on how big or small it is. So this is an easy way. Yes, it costs your unit a little bit of money, but you can choose how much money you feel like you want to invest in that or not invest. Completely up to you guys. And then, you know, it shows on here, you can choose where you want it to go, you know, whether it's Facebook, directly to their messenger ads, or Instagram, that kind of stuff. We just recommend Facebook and Instagram. You know, it's a pretty simple process then. And yeah, so this is the majority of how you would go through this process. If you guys have more questions about this stuff, we are looking into the idea of doing a little bit more of a specific training about just this stuff, but we might do that a little bit more of like a district level and that kind of stuff. If you guys have more questions, you know, let your district executive know, and we may create something in the future for more specifically about how to do these type of things. That is really all I have. So I will stop sharing my screen, and I think that is everything. Yeah. So back to you, John.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it. On this next segment, we're going to have Abby talk to us about some of the resources that the National and Council has put together for us to use to help us recruit this fall. I got to just make this comment. If you guys haven't seen these yet, buckle up. They are fantastic. They are really, really excellent, excellent resources. Very well done. And I think Abby's going to have quite a bit more to tell us about them. So, Abby?
All right. So can you guys see my Scouting Wire page here? Okay.
Yep.
So scoutingwire.org is a great resource for our units. The first page, when you go there, you see is scouting news. So all the most up-to-date things going on, any new program changes or advancements or feel-good stories, whatever you want, it's all here. There are a few specific things I want to hit though, which we're going to start at this tab called Marketing and Membership. All right, so when you click on that, you've got a couple options here, and we're going to go into the Marketing and Membership Hub. And on the first page, we have recruitment webinars. National has been holding recruitment webinars for a while now, and you can see them all. Either you can register for the ones that are coming up, or you can watch all the pre-recorded ones that have already happened. So there you can see on July 23rd, there was one on geofencing, search, social media, and peer-to-peer recruiting. So you might find that extremely useful to just go and see how they're doing it. Hold on. Somebody else just shared their screen. All right, let me get back here. Okay, so there's all your webinars. And then in this top corner over here, you see Pack and Den Recruiting. And this will have resources specific to Cub Scouts on recruitment. There's a sign-up night playbook. You can read this case study. There are social media images. So there's a lot of really cool stuff on here. The sign-up night playbook, it was written before COVID-19, but that doesn't mean it isn't useful. You can find a lot of interesting things on here about planning the event and how what responsibilities your volunteers should have, promoting the event. Okay. So outside of the membership and marketing, there's also Brand Center. And this is where you're going to go for any images you need, videos, all made by National for your use. So the first one here is fall recruitment assets. We're going to explore that. And there's some new things on here. So the first set of videos with the adults are 5-minute videos. They all cover the same questions. It's the most asked questions about Cub Scouts for new families. And each one is the same content. It just has different presenters. So you can adjust that to your demographic to make them feel more like this is an inclusive program for them. We also have a school talks by kids that National has put together. Since we might not be able to go to a physical school talk, this will allow us to send a video to the school, and we can always add our own information to it. And I just want to pull up this 30-second one and show you guys really quick.
My name is Carlos, and I'm a Cub Scout. I'm here to talk to you today about becoming a Scout like me. Cub Scouts get badges for doing fun activities, and we make friends. Scouts go camping, climbing, and fishing, and swimming together. We play sports and go to parades. Scouts also help people and become the best versions of themselves. Visit bascout.org to find a pack near you, get any questions answered, and sign up for Cub Scouts online.
So short, sweet, to the point. You can download it. You can pick, there's ones by boys, ones by girls. This would be great for your Facebook page or your Instagram page. So it's kids talking about Scouts. And there's also some older Scouts down here talking about Scouts BSA. So we're going to go back to the main page. And scroll down. And now there's this whole area for Cub Scout assets. And this has some pretty cool stuff in it, cool things. You've got here peer-to-peer cards, word of mouth, and a scout inviting a friend to join scouting is one of the best ways we can recruit. And here you can find peer-to-peer cards that you like, print them off, cut them to the little individual cards, and give them to all your scouts to pass out to their friends. And that does not want to load, but there's different ones. There's kayaks, fishing. If you go back here and go to the Pinewood Derby, there are Pinewood Derby centered peer-to-peer cards. So a lot of cool stuff. Also, we've got, scrolling down a little bit, social media images. And I want to point this out because we don't really encourage you to go to Google, type in Scouts in the search bar, and then just pick a random picture. You don't know what the rights to that picture are. So here you have pictures specifically for your use, done professionally with Scouts. So one thing I really like here is this guide. You click on this guide, open it up, and it is something you can download, and it gives you if you pick the visual with the slime, the kid playing with slime, it tells you what your headline can be and gives you post copy. So you don't even have to think about what to write along with your Facebook post. You don't have to try to be creative because they've done the work for you. So I think and they've done a pretty good job. Like this one for Rocket says, ready for action, that's out of this world, join Cub Scouts for adventures that go above and beyond. So they're all titled for those pictures that you can find here. So you can pick pictures with headlines or without headlines, download them, upload them to your Facebook page, add the copy that National has written for you, and your social media page is set. And then the last thing I want to show you on here is the pictures. There's a whole set of just random pictures. They're by category, so whatever your vision is for what you want to share about your pack, whether it's camping or fishing or hiking, you can find Scout-centric pictures that go along with that theme. So scoutingwire.org, definitely go explore the marketing and membership hub and the brand center. You'll find a lot of cool stuff that will help you in your recruitment efforts. And with that, I will kick it back to Mr. Keck. And you're muted, John.
All right. Those resources that we have, guys, are just fantastic. It's funny that you picked out Carlos because I actually clicked on Carlos the other day. Cute kid, real enthusiastic. This stuff is really, really well done. I clicked on several of them. And I think as we go ahead and we move forward as far as social media, which is going to be our next topic. And I think as far as us being able to provide these within our social media platforms, all the work's already done. It's just a matter of all of us getting the word out at this point. So without further ado, we bring you the marketing expert in the group, social media expert, Becca Scott. Becca, take it away.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me well? Great. All right. Well, Chris and Abby have already done a great job going through a lot of key points for social media, so I don't need to elaborate on what they did, but I'm going to round out a few things. So one of the things that we're going to be doing in all of our social media campaigns is driving people to the beascout.org, which is why getting your PIN updated is so important. We are also going to be pushing people toward the Buffalo Trace Council website that's going to have more information about local units and answering some of those frequently asked questions about scouting and letting them know how we're continuing to scout during COVID. Scouting always finds a way, so we'll be talking about that. I will be working closely with Abby on the council social media starting in August. And we're going to be using some of those fantastic assets that Abby just took us through in the Marketing Hub and in Brand Center. Scouting has come so far in what they're offering in there from when I started on the council almost 3 years ago. It is phenomenal of what they have put out there to give us the tools that we need to do. Some of these have just been put out in the past couple of weeks because the last time I was in there, they weren't there. So I'm thrilled that we have these to work with. I am going to be working on including some pictures from local events because when we post things on the council's web Facebook page, we want people to start recognizing some local kids as well. And part of where you're going to come in with this is to share what we put on our page, and that'll help more people see the overarching message that we're trying to convey. If you share what we do, you can have some posts of your own, but then this also helps you build traffic on your own Facebook page. And it helps more people recognize local kids because if people see somebody they know, they're more likely to comment and share, which helps get our messages out further. I think a lot of you know that that's how Facebook and Instagram and social media overall work, is the more that it's shared, the more that it's commented on, the farther it goes. So keep all that in mind. And then for the communications with schools, I don't need to tell anybody on this call that the school start dates and other things Chris was talking about at the beginning was a moving target. And I can't imagine being in a principal's shoes right now. And so we want to be really careful about our communications with the schools. So I don't want, like at our own PAC, I want to be careful that there aren't 3 or 4 of us reaching out to the principal trying to coordinate some sort of promotion when we know, quite frankly, that he's going to be pretty overwhelmed at the beginning of school. So we're leaving the school connections to the district staff members who are on this call. However, if you have some sort of special relationship with the school, like for example, you work at the school, reach out to your district representative, the staff member, and let him or her know what's going on, that you might want to approach your school about any in-person activities there. But otherwise, we're going to try and leave that to the district staff members because of all of the moving targets of this year. And then also, we're going to be doing some local media promotions with local television and newspapers and radio. But where that's going to come in from all of you is we need some great stories. If we send them information, if we're going to start Cub Scout recruitment, that's not very newsworthy. But if we find out, if we have some stories about an activity or a project or something fantastic that a particular unit is doing, that is newsworthy. And then we can promote the Cub Scout signups are beginning later this month if we can time everything correctly. So if you have news stories, please be sure to reach out. You can reach out to me. You can reach out to any of the hosts on this, anybody on staff, and we can coordinate efforts because we want to get some positive media for the entire council and individual districts as well. So if your efforts can be coordinated with the council during this recruitment time, that would be very, very helpful. All right, those are the key points that I had to make. Thank you, John.
Thank you, Becca. Very well said. We appreciate all of the work that you're doing at the council level. And we look forward to seeing some of the different ways in which we're going to be reaching out to our communities through social media and some of these wonderful marketing materials. So as far as what can we do as a unit right now? That's probably going through just about everybody's head right now on this call. So we do have an answer for that. And Mr. Harding has graciously chosen to take that subject on. And John, could you tell us a little bit about what, in your opinion, would be good things for us to do at our unit levels at this point?
There's quite a bit that we need our units to participate in right now. And it's, you know, you're setting the tone right now with where we're going to be with recruiting new scouts. We're looking for those positive actions, the impact that you're going to have in your local communities. Some of our PACs and our troops have been telling us about service projects they've been doing over the last several months. We need to continue that feedback, informing us what you're doing, telling us about the merit badges that older scouts might be doing, or telling us about the service project that your PAC is doing. Because the other part of it too that we're interested in, as Becca was kind of leading into, is we'd like to re-engage the partnership and the alliance with our school systems. Our school systems have been providing us access for many years and talking to the students. And unfortunately, this year with the pandemic, that's not likely going to happen. But if there is a way that our PACs could provide a service project for their elementary schools that they've been recruiting from and doing things for the last couple of years, if we can engage our students on the school campus, we'd like to do that. If your PAC has that interest, maybe you've got a little bit in the treasury, maybe to purchase some paint, and maybe paint the hand railings near the bus stops, or spruce up the place, or help with garbage pickup, or anything like that. Communicate with our staff, between Abby, Chris, and myself, in regards to an interest of your PAC in doing a community service project. And as we're in communication with the principals over the next couple of weeks, we might share that opportunity of doing an Adopt a School program. Adopt a School is a program that's been around in the BSA for a few years. It comes and goes periodically at different times. And this is one of those years where we'd like to see it spark up. If we can pull off the right service project, it's another teaser with possibly a media post, sharing the information with our media partners. They might jump on this pretty quickly, and we could have some big paybacks from this, because we can then advertise that the virtual recruitment opportunities are going to be available for any scout in any community with beascout.org. So think about it, go back to your PAC leadership, talk to them about it, see what the interest level is, and communicate back with our team. And we're looking for those positive PR stories really within the next 4 weeks. And there's a couple of reasons for that. One is, if you haven't heard before, the national organization has declared bankruptcy. And the advertisement campaign as part of the bankruptcy process will be starting in September. And it'll continue through the middle of October. And we have got to find some things that we can put out in our media partners that are very positive and uplifting, and activity levels that shows the positive aspects of our program today in our local communities, because that's where scouting happens. So we're going to try to ignore the bankruptcy or push it away, but we're trying to make sure our positive PR actions are speaking louder than the other actions that might be out there in the communities. So we need that support from you as our leaders. We need you to continue to share the posts that we put up on a council basis. And we'll continue to share the posts that you're putting up on your unit basis as well. Make sure you're communicating with your parents too. Asking the parents to share what a PAC is doing is just as important, because it then spreads out exponentially with every family that's active in your PAC. So one of the other examples that we have is called the Family Fun Fest. It's coming up in August on October 8th. It's a Saturday. And it's designed as a family event where you're doing some outdoor and in-the-house adventures, and it's being built with the national office, the national leadership team, and people across the country. And it's only from 10 o'clock in the morning till 1 o'clock in the afternoon Central Time, but it's designed as another teaser to give scouting a try for possible new members. So we're going to hopefully get those promotions sparked out within our council and in your units and to your own families, and they share it with others. And at the same time too, we'll be repeating this same action again, probably with different components, again in September, on September 12th. So that's another point of activity levels that we need to make sure your Cub Scout pack, your pack leadership is talking about now as a committee, with your den leaders as well, and with your parents. We need to share the positive actions of what's going on with scouting in your Cub Scout pack, in your local community, and also in the council. So we appreciate your help on that. So, and that leads us into the next poll question that we're going to have. We have a question 2, and we'll go ahead and launch that if that's okay with you, John. So we appreciate voting on our second poll question. It's kind of like a follow-up to our first. So we're hoping that we'll see some improvements from some others, that we've given you some more tools that you've never seen before, that you will take a few minutes and get into the invitation manager and find the QR code, and then copy that QR code and post it on some of the other information that you could take. So for instance, if you're partnering with a church, your charter organization is a church, maybe you could post the QR code in their church bulletin as a way to learn more about your pack. Those are communication tools. They weren't in existence for our leadership a few years ago, and now we're trying to make sure that you're informed of what's going on. And hopefully this will help you quite a bit. Back to you, Mr. Keck.
Thank you, John. So as we go into our closing, I've got a couple of announcements to make for Save the Dates. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the different meetings and what they will represent. So looks like we have the poll results up. Okay, looks like we got some more in the top 3 categories now, John. What do you think?
Not bad. We still got a few in the 10 to 40% range, but we have 0 on the bottom end of it. So that was one of my big goals. So
that's good. Yeah.
All right. We appreciate your participation in that.
Thank you, John, for doing the polls. So isn't he getting fancy with the technology, folks? So anyhow, let's talk a little bit about some upcoming stuff that we need to put on our calendars to make sure we have a save the date for. We're going to have a virtual roundtable Thursday, August the 6th. It's going to be at 6 p.m. Central Time. Now that's going to be a good meeting to be a part of, and we will be sending out a mass email for a Zoom link because it will be done virtually. Secondly, we're talking about a virtual recruitment week. We're looking at right now August 31 through September 4. And the whole concept behind this is to spend an hour each night, Monday through Thursday. And within that hour, we would have a scouting professional. We would have a scouting volunteer and hopefully a scout as well, involved in just being there and having a virtual Facebook situation going so that we could actually have people contact them, talk to them, find out what it's like to be in Scouts, find out the good, the bad, and the ugly, and how much fun it is and things like that. So we're talking about doing it on that August 31st to September 4th. So this is going to be more like a self-help session that answers a lot of the questions that the public might have. So I wanted you to be aware of that. So then in mid-August, we would like to do this kind of a meeting again. And here's why. Things are changing so quickly. Things are just absolutely, you turn one way and it's already gone zagged the other way. So what we'd like to do is to have another one of these update meetings, review our marketing plans, review our recruitment plans, review our social media plans, share them. Hopefully every single person on this call will be back on that August. call, mid-August call. We're tentatively got it set up for Thursday, August the 20th. Same time, 6 o'clock, okay, p.m. Central Time. And then the last thing I'd like to do before I finally wrap up is to open it up. Does anybody have, I know, guys, we threw a lot at you tonight. I get that. Is there any overall questions that people would feel comfortable with asking on this call? And I think it's fair to say that we probably all have a lot of questions. But if there's something that maybe one of the professionals could answer, or maybe someone else in the group would answer, that would be helpful. So I'd like to open it up. Please unmute yourself, but then also make sure to mute once you ask your question and get your answer. So if there's any questions, I would like to entertain those at this time.
I have a question really quick for Becca, to see if I can answer this one in the chat. If you have a private Facebook group, can you select a single post to be publicly viewed?
Single post. I would have to look at the settings of how you set up your page. I wish I had a better answer than that. It just depends on how the page was set up and what Facebook is allowing you to do with that page setup. I'm sorry. If we talked offline or we were on the phone together, or I could somehow see it, I might be able to better answer that question. But usually no, if you set up something to be fairly private, they assume that you want to keep it private, is my best answer I can give you.
Yeah, Becca, I think you're right on that. Not too often does Facebook let you flip back and forth with private, non-private settings. So the other angle would be to possibly share it as a creating a PAC website. Could be another option if you've got the resources of your PAC to create a PAC website and utilize that rather than a Facebook page.
Or create another Facebook page and make that one public.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. Abby, do you want to hit the chat box regarding the dates that you kicked out earlier too? Just as a reminder.
Yeah, so I just put in all the dates we talked about in the chat box. Roundtable, which is virtual, will be Thursday, August 6th. The National Family Fun Fest is August 8th, and that will be on the National Boy Scouts of America Facebook page. We'll do our virtual recruitment the week of August 31st through September 4th. The second part of Family Fun Fest is Saturday, September 12th. And then we have our Council Cub Scout Fall Fun Day, which will be virtual this year. And that is going to be Saturday, September 19th. And that will be very much like the Camporee in May. If you attended it, it will be set up in a similar way.
And if you would like to help, please contact Fred Hassman for the family, for the Council Fall Fun Day.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, without a doubt, we threw a lot of dates at everybody kind of quickly. We try to highlight those on your agenda that we shared with you. We'll have those also updated on our council calendar through the council webpage. We're pretty much looking at a lot of our meetings for the council and the districts to still be in a virtual format. And we'd also like to hear from some of our PACs too as to if you're not meeting virtually, if you need help, if you need guidance. We have several PAC leaders that can help you, coach you through the process. If you need us to help host it with you to pull it off, we could do that. There's a lot of our PACs that are meeting virtually. So we just need to talk a little bit more about it. You can't be scared. We got to get back into this somehow. And we really appreciate all that you're doing in keeping the scouting program going for your families.
So we do have a question on the chat box from Dan. Dan asks, are we banking on virtual recruitment this year? I've heard that schools will only be open until Labor Day, and then we'll be e-learning again. Thoughts? Dan, there are so many opportunities and so many different options out there right now, depending upon what state you live in, what county you live in, what school district you're in, what city you're in. Everybody's doing something different. And I think the main reason for that, obviously, is this huge upheaval in our society right now. Is it safe to go to school? Is it not safe to go to school? As a parent, should I be sending my kids to school, or should I be having them doing e-learning? As a teacher, am I safe? You know what? These are questions that we just can't answer at this point. And quite frankly, that's why everything is changing so rapidly. If we don't have any other questions, I just want to close by just sharing a thought with you guys. So literally just a few weeks ago, I took the job at the council level here for the membership, to be in charge of membership at the council level. And it was an unexpected opening. And quite frankly, I don't think even in regular times without COVID-19, a sane person would have taken this job with the short amount of period that we have before we start recruiting, right? So I took it nonetheless. And when you add in the COVID-19 uncertainties and the uncertainties within our society right now, it just makes it all that much, we'll just call it interesting, right? That's what we'll call it. But the bottom line is this, is that I think the most important part of scouting is the membership. Is we need to get as many kids into the program as humanly possible. And here's why. If you think about the goal of scouting, what is the goal of scouting? Our goal of scouting is to prepare young men and women, boys and girls, to become men and women who make the correct choices in life and add to their communities. If you boil it all down, that's what scouting is all about. And that's why this membership role is so important, is we need to get as many kids into this, especially in these times. Get as many children into this program as we physically can, as we humanly can. So it's very important that we all do our best to do that. So I think that probably one of the most overlying issues here is, it would be real simple to say the world is in upheaval and we're just going to lay out for a while as a unit, right? But that's not what we need to be doing. We need to be making sure that the kids are attending virtually. We need to take them camping. We need to take them onto outings. We need them to do service work. We need them to earn rank. We need them to learn the things that scouting teaches. So that's why this membership thing is so important. And that's the reason that I took this job on. Decidedly, this is going to be, and rightfully so, a year of learning. And it's not going to be a year of norm. Dan, your question in regards to, are we just relying on virtual recruiting this year? I don't look at it as virtual recruiting as much as I look at it as grassroots recruiting. What I'm saying is, it's going to be up to every single one of us that's on this call today to go out and knock on doors, go out and make sure that our kids invite their friends into the unit. Make sure that we do everything possible we can to ensure that we have large numbers of kids that enroll into the scouting program this fall. I love those peer cards. That's just one example of something that you can do as a project at home with your child to make sure that it goes out to his or her friends, and choose the thing that your kid's passionate about, whether it be canoeing or whether it be BB guns or whatever. There's a peer card for it, right? So I think overall, as we adjourn this evening, I think we need to really reflect on how important it is that we pick up the ball here and we all work towards this together in a grassroots manner. And yes, that will require virtual recruiting. But I think there's other things that we can do as well. So as I said, this next membership call, please invite people within your unit to attend as well. I think we had 41 or 42 on the call today. Let's see if we can get 100 on the next one. And we continue to talk about recruiting and getting kids into the program and figuring out how we can do that. In the meanwhile, again, my name is John Keck. For those of you who don't know me, I can be reached through Abby or any of the professionals. If you've got any suggestions for me when it comes to helping with this recruiting, I sure would love to hear them. So I think with that, John, we should probably go ahead and wrap up, unless anybody has anything that's just really, really pressing.
They're good.
Okay.
You're good. Great job.
Thank you all. Thank you all for coming tonight. We really do appreciate it, and we hope that you're able to help us with getting this membership drive kicked off really well this year for fall.
Yep.
Have a nice evening, everybody.
Take care. Best
See ya.
regards to all. Thank you all very much.